Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a regular session of our public meeting. We got a nice few things to go through this evening, so let's get things started. Someone would like to move the approval of the agenda, please. Thank you. Seconded? Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. We have approval of minutes from the March 27th. Would someone like to move the approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Thank
Or
you.
second, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. Do we have any business arising from the minutes? Nothing there? Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, yeah.
I was hoping that Rodney be here, but he's not. I'd just like to know when we do our what do you call them with the media scrums? Is it?
Yeah.
Are they open to the public?
I mean, usually we give the media, I guess, an ability to
No, I just asked the question.
quietly,
So.
yeah.
I didn't expect you to answer, sir. Though.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it's something
don't,
we can follow up with Rodney when he gets back.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Proclamations and events. So, let me get over to this section here. Here we go. So we did have a proclamation for Parkinson's Awareness Month. Of course, Parkinson's affects over 1,500 families in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's a neurodegenerative disease which causes tremors, slowness, and stiffness, impaired balance, rigidity of muscles, and trouble speaking. Through research, education, and advocacy and support services, the Parkinson's Society endeavors to ease the burden for all those affected by Parkinson's. So we did that earlier today, I believe. Okay, we had a beautiful proclamation for that. As well, we have Municipal Awareness Week coming up. I don't know if I have something there in my package for that. There it is. The 8th to the 12th of May. It used to be a day. We used to do Municipal Awareness Day, but now it's so important we made it a whole week. So our staff are working on a public event on May the 10th. From 10 to 3 p.m. at the Curling Club and Civic Center. So come out. We often do some demos on, how some of our equipment works, how we use it, how our water system works, things like that. So it's a great time. We'll have some of our fire equipment as well up there. So please come on out and join us. It's important to, it's a great way to learn about what the city does, what our employees do. A great opportunity for council, too, to see our staff and see what they're doing. Okay, Deputy Mayor, we have our first item here, sale of trackless sidewalk snow blower.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City of Cornwall was approached by Memorial University to purchase from the city a trackless side blower. The purpose of this RFD is to request approval for the sale to Memorial University. Unit 127-16 trackless motor vehicle 2016 model MT6 serial number MT6-1995, and it has a dump box series 6, a sweeper, a water tank, a sander, a blade cradle, and a snow blower. The sale purchase is agreed upon for $45,000 plus taxes. The terms and conditions of this sale is detailed in the purchase and sale agreement, which is attached to our documents. The proposed motion, be it resolved to approve the attached purchase and sale agreement for Unit 127-16 to Memorial University for the total of $45,000 plus tax. I so move.
Thank you very much. Would someone like to second that?
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Yes?
I'm in conflict.
Okay.
I cannot vote on
Are
this.
there any objections to Councillor sitting this one out? No? Okay, good, yes. So you are allowed to stay there, but you can't talk. Okay, so did we get a second? We need a seconder on that motion?
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect.
we got it? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so would anyone have any questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just a couple of questions. In the preamble, it's a 2016 model snowblower. How many hours are on that piece of equipment? I guess it's measured, the time is measured by hours on the equipment. Because 2016, how old it will be, but how many hours, how much use is it at in the city? I guess if it's We had it valued at $45,000. What was the original value, number of hours on it, and we're selling it for $45,000.
Okay, Mr. Burden, maybe you could tell us about that?
Yeah, I don't have the hours that are on it. I just don't recall. It wouldn't be a lot of hours, for the simple fact was this piece of machinery was bought in 2016, and it was only used in the winter. We didn't, unlike a Bobcat that could have attachments on it for doing asphalt and the fields and stuff, this machine was pretty limited to, was purchased for sidewalk snow clearing, but wasn't that effective because it's an articulated piece of equipment. And with the trees and the sidewalks around West Street and Broadway, we just didn't find it was very effective. So what we've switched to is a more of a Bobcat type unit. Or I shouldn't say Bobcat. Bobcat is a skid steer.
Right.
Bobcat, the one that we've utilized quite a bit because of the attachments. This machine was about $100,000 to purchase new in 2016. And like I said, it's 7 years old, although it doesn't have a lot of hours, because of the conditions it was used in, it is showing some sign, it needs repair, the body is starting to corrode, and like I said, we just think get as much money out of it as we can now to put towards a skid steer type loader, so that we can utilize it 12 months of the year as opposed to 5.
Which leads to my final question, Mr. Mayor. So the purchase of the new skid steer, that will be done this particular season and be ready for the fall, or at least for the winter, for sidewalk cleaning?
It'll be ready for the fall. It'll be ready for the next season.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anyone else?
I
Yes?
had a question, but I think it was been answered, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councilor?
Just one question on the terms of sale, because normally we sell things by bid or RFPs or whatever. So I'm just wondering how this process compares to disposing of other equipment and why we're going with one, I guess, I wouldn't even say bid, why we're doing it this way, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mr. Maestri, or would you have any idea about that?
I know that there was a communication between the city and the representative from Memorial University who needed the equipment, so I'm not sure
I can't hear.
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing you there. Yeah, maybe move your mic a little bit if you could,
Yeah.
please.
Sorry, I know there was a communication between the city of Corner Brook and a representative from Memorial University who showed interest in it, and hence we went that route, but we did not offer it out to the public.
But
Mr., yeah.
yeah, just, we've actually had this piece of equipment on auction twice, and it didn't sell either time. So then when we were approached by Memorial, we kind of ran with it. And I do believe there's something in the Public Procurement Act that when we dispose, that we can dispose to another government agency once it already has been put out to the public, I think at least once or something. So we were pretty confident that we were okay from a policy point of view to sell directly to MUN.
Okay, yes?
No, that is correct. I just wanted to make sure that the public were aware, so somebody doesn't go back and ask, why do we sell it to one organization without consulting anybody else?
Okay.
That's the answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Councillor Pender, we have the consultant for Deep Gulch, big project.
Yes, thank you. The RFD, this RFD is intended to address the selection of a prime consultant related to the Deep Gulch Brook culvert replacement. This project is funded under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, or ICIP, and consists of infrastructure improvements at University Drive and O'Connell Drive. The scope of the project includes the replacement or relocation of an existing large diameter CMP culvert, new asphalt, curb, gutter, sidewalk, and associated appurtenances. Okay.
It's interesting.
The City of Corner Brook requested proposals to select a prime consultant for the project. Proposals were received from 6 firms and were evaluated by a committee of staff in the province in accordance with the RFP evaluation criteria. Based on that evaluation, the committee has selected the preferred proponent. So the proposed resolution be resolved that the City of Corner Brook City Council accept a proposal from R.V. Anderson Associates Limited in the amount of $172,542.55, HST included, for consulting services related to the Deep Gulch Brook Culvert replacement. I so move.
Thank you. Would someone second that, please?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, questions on this one? Yes, go ahead, Deputy.
Just a quick question. Why do we not list the other people or the other proposals that came in? We said there were 6. One time we used to put them all into our RFD.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think for consultants, the engineering companies, quite often it's not a tender process, it is usually an RFP process.
Okay.
So it is it's not always listed as a competitive kind of process. They go through their evaluation and pick.
We have no idea, like, how they were picked or how they were selected. It says up there some stuff, but we don't know what they actually bid on a proposal.
Yeah, it does say that we evaluated
Yes, it was
from a
evaluated.
committee of us and the province,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. Any other question? Yes.
Just looking at what the time frame is, I'm assuming we're looking at replacing this section of culvert this year?
Mr. Burden?
As far as I know, there's really no option. That has to be done. I'm not sure on the engineering point of view what their schedule looks like, but I know from a public works, infrastructure point of view, we can't wait. We can't wait much longer. That what's up there is just gone. So
Yeah,
it'll be a push for sure for this year.
Yeah, I think we'll have to check with Mr. Charters on that. I think because it is a major project.
It's a big project.
So I'm not sure, because it is getting to a point now where the design isn't done yet. So it's going to be a while.
Yeah, no, and that's why I was asking the question, because I knew we had to get it done.
Yeah.
But if we're just going to tender now for the design, I'm just wondering if we'll even get started. We might get maybe a section of it done or something, if that's possible.
There's, from what I understand, there's 2 possible options for the construction of this. One is much simpler and hopefully cheaper than what's existing. So I think there is a possible avenue of expediting some construction this year.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just
Yes.
for the people at home, where is the Deep Gulch Brook?
Mr. Burden, you want to describe that for us?
It's essentially the intersection of the bottom of University Drive with O'Connell Drive. So right around the Civic Center digital sign.
Is that where we had the cable?
Yeah. So yeah, we've had multiple
sorry.
sinkholes there that we're looking to repair.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
I think that's a very exotic name and that we should do something with that.
Yeah.
Deep Gulch Brook.
Yep.
We could like make a thing out of it. Anyway, sorry. I like the words.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Councillor Keeping, we have our supply of hanging baskets.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works, Water, and Wastewater issued a tender for the annual supply of 105 hanging flower baskets for a 3-year period commencing June 2023. The tender closed on March 31st, 2023, and the compliant bid is K&D Commercial Maintenance Limited, $6,309.19. Proposed resolution, be resolved that Corner Brook City Council awards a 3-year contract to K&D Commercial Maintenance Limited for the amount of $6,309.19 per year, taxes included, for the supply of hanging flower baskets. I so move.
Thank you. Would someone like to second that?
I'd like to second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions on this one? Yes, Deputy.
Is this the same group that did the flowers last year?
Mr. Burden?
Yes, that's correct. This is the same contractor we used the past 3 years.
Okay. And it's $6,309.19 every year for the next 3 years.
Yep.
That's correct.
And It says in the background information, for the 3-year period, the tender closed, and all compliant bids are listed below, but there's only one bid. Am I to take it that there was only one bid submitted
Yep.
for the hanging flowers?
Mr. Burden?
That's correct.
Thank you.
We got here first, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, the hanging flower baskets that we see around town, does that also include some of the ones that we're putting out in the medians, on the corners and that kind of stuff? So the last couple of years, we started to do that on the ground.
Yeah, we do them through the same contractor, but we just do them as a change order or addition to this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And over here?
This is the same company that has done it the last couple of years,
Yep.
right? And so I just want to say they do a great job. So I'm not surprised that we would take them on again. And anyone who knows me knows I love flowers, so I think it's great.
Okay, thank you.
Just a couple questions, Mr. Mayor, if you will. So the city will look after hanging them, the installation of the baskets, because this is only to the supply, and we'll look after the maintenance of them as well, the watering and so on, is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
So could we get a total cost of what it costs us to do these hanging baskets through a year?
Yep.
Just for us understanding what the budget indications are? Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure we can arrange that. Yes, Deputy?
And do we have any idea of how much more it will cost for the extra baskets that are on the ground?
Mr. Bird?
Yeah, they're typically in the $500-600 range for, I know we put some on Main Street and the island, Harold Avenue. The reason we're different, these are public works paid for, and the ones that sit in the islands I charge off to tourism.
He says, and he rubs his chin with glee, right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Yes,
Again, I just want to reiterate how important it is for our city to look beautiful.
absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
mean, if we can afford it, we need to do it.
Yes.
For our tourists, for our cruise ships, and for, I really love seeing the flowers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, we have a standing offer, supply of asphalt, concrete, and granular materials. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And
Everybody-
sorry, and this is a 3-year, and...
I may be in conflict, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I work in the industry, but I don't work with any of the two companies that are listed in the bid.
yeah.
So I don't know if I'm in a conflict or not. Just bring it forward.
Yeah, we can bring it to, a vote here if we want. So would someone like to make a motion, either he's in a conflict or not in a conflict?
I'll make one that he's not.
Okay, seconder on that? Second that he's not? Okay, that the Councillor Granter is not in a conflict of interest, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Say yay, one for me. But yeah, go ahead, so you're safe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. 2023-05 standing offer supply of asphalt, concrete, and granular materials. Quotations were recently invited for the City of Corner Brook for supply of asphalt, concrete, granular material, and standing offer basis for the period of June 1st, 2023 to May 31st, 2026. Unit prices were requested for ready-mix concrete, hot mix surface asphalt, Class A, Class B, pit run, quarry stone, topsoil, 40 millimeter wash stone, quarter-inch minus, 4-inch minus, 6-inch minus, MP gravel. The tender closed on March 31st, and all compliant quotations are indicated in the attached table. Our proposed motion, be it resolved that the City of Corner Brook Council accepts staff's recommendation to accept quotations for the supply of asphalt, concrete, granular material as stated in the attached table for the period June the 1st, 2023 to May the 31st, 2026 on a standing offer basis.
Okay,
I so move.
thank you. Seconder? Seconded, excellent. Questions on this one? Yes, Deputy.
How is this pricing compared to last year?
Mr. Burden?
Yeah, so these, as we expected, the prices went up a little bit, but not as much as we would have expected given the increase in costs that we've seen in the past 3 years since this was last tendered. So I don't know the exact percentages, but it wasn't as big of an increase as we anticipated.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? No, just the only question I have is Mr. Burton, are you aware, like, do both of these companies produce their own, or are they buying, or what are they doing?
I know both of these companies would produce their own.
Okay, good, thank you. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, Councillor Pender, we've got the electrical service and maintenance contract for our buildings.
Yes, thank you. Bids were requested for the 2-year electrical services and maintenance for city buildings. Tenders closed on March 21st of 2023 with 1 bid received. Best Coast Electrical in the amount of $28,175, HST included. So the proposed resolution be resolved that the City of Corner Brook Council approve the tender bid from Best Coast Electrical in the amount of $28,175, HST included, per annum for the electrical service or maintenance for buildings with a 2-year contract. I so move.
Thank you. A seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
Pretty straightforward.
Yes, Mr. Pender. Councillor
Not a
Pender.
question, Mr. Mayor, but just a comment, just so we know the financial impact. It's 11.1% increase compared to the current 2-year contract, which expires April 30, 2023. So within, CPI, I guess.
Yeah, anything else? No, okay. Let's take it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, we have the electrical for our equipment. Councillor Gill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Bids were requested for the 2-year electrical services and maintenance for city equipment. Tenders closed on March 21st with 1 bid received. Best Coast Electrical at $28,336. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Corner Brook Council approve the tender bid from Best Coast Electrical in the amount of $28,336, HST included, per annum for the electrical service/maintenance for equipment 2020-303. 2020-303. Okay, that's, yeah, okay. 2-year contract. So it's 2023-04. No?
No, this is the
Contract
number.
number.
That's just the contract number. Okay, cool. So moved.
Okay, thank you. Seconder on that?
Mr. Mayor.
Perfect. Any questions? Okay. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. This is an interesting one. Councillor Granter, fleet management.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Currently, the City of Corner Brook owns and maintains a vehicle fleet of approximately 60 vehicles. The cost to purchase and maintain city vehicles is significant, so staff have explored options to reduce these costs. The Enterprise Fleet Management Program has been identified as a procurement solution that is beneficial to the City of Corner Brook. The Enterprise Fleet Management Program is a procurement solution available through Canoe Procurement Group of Canada, one of the largest public sector buying groups in Canada. Enterprise Fleet Management Program and Canoe Procurement entered into an agreement in 2019 following a competitive procurement process. The Enterprise Fleet Management Program is an open-ended lease program for light-duty vehicles, which includes vehicle analysis, acquisition, outfitting, maintenance tracking, and vehicle sales. The program completes ongoing evaluations to identify opportunities to improve our fleet and related service levels based on municipal needs. Unique benefits of the Enterprise Fleet Management Program and potential benefits to the city include the following: competitive bid process by Enterprise ensures group buying power and lower cost, and achieving higher resale value for our assets. Elimination of tender process means quicker purchasing and less administrative work for staff. Replacement of vehicles according to full life cycle cost of the asset. reduction in repairs and maintenance expenses over the life of the asset, access to industry data and analytics regarding total cost of ownership for vehicle types and brands, and better tracking mechanisms for our own fleet regarding total cost of ownership. The ultimate goal of the city in entering this program is to ensure the best value to the taxpayer. Attached documentation summarizes the program and cost savings to the city over the next 10 years. Proposed resolution, Mr. Mayor, be it resolved that Corner Brook City Council accepts staff's recommendation to authorize the award of a corporate lease ownership, maintenance and management program to Enterprise Fleet Management Leasing Program, and that council authorize a 5-year transition plan for procurement and disposition of light fleet vehicles, and that council authorize staff to proceed with year one procurement of 16 light fleet vehicles. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this one? This is a bit of a complex one, so I'm sure there are some questions. Anyone have anything here yet?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I mean, Canoe has been, I've heard that company's name come up numerous times at municipalities, Newfoundland, Labrador, as a company that they are endorsing. And so, did we come across that through their auspices, or is this something that? How did we come across Canoe as being our procurement person in this situation?
Mr. Burden?
So we've been, I guess, exploring the, a few years ago, we went with leasing our heavy equipment, our loaders. And I guess back shortly after that, 2 or 3 years ago, we started looking at possibly leasing our light vehicles as well, our light duty fleet. And through Canoe, we were introduced to Canoe through a presentation back probably 2 years ago now, and all of the aspects of Canoe that are available to us. And it just aligned that we were looking for a company to help us with our light duty fleet, and Enterprise had already bid with Canoe and received that contract and have been being utilized by a lot of municipalities. So we didn't really go looking for Enterprise. Enterprise didn't really go looking for us, or Canoe, sorry. But they had services that we could utilize, and it just kind of the timing really worked out for us.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, Canoe, of course, offers a lot of other aspects to their offerings, to what they can help municipalities through my work with M&L, and I would highly recommend them as an opportunity, that we can use them in other aspects besides this particular situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
Mr. Mayor, the 16 that we're going to look at approving, the 16 light fleet vehicles, so we're referencing vehicles that will be like 4x4 pickup trucks, vans, cargo vans, those kinds of things that the city would use.
That's correct.
And we're looking for 16 for this particular year?
So we have a total of 60 vehicles that will be transitioned out over the next 5 years. So every year, basically, Enterprise will take the number that have been laid out each year based on their current age. They will sell them vehicles, the equity we get back, and that comes off the lease price for the vehicles for that year. So in 5 years' time, we will essentially have a fleet of 60 vehicles, maximum age 5 years, and then every year, then vehicles will get switched out. So the maximum age of any vehicle at any time will be 5 years.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thanks, Donnie, for that assessment.
Any other questions? No, I just want to confirm that, so based on the analysis that they did, we have over a 10-year time frame, we're going to save over about $436,000.
And based on their analysis, that's very conservative. That's based on not getting very much money back for a vehicle that they sell after 5 years, so that their resale assumption is quite low. And they've also budgeted that every time they replace a light-duty vehicle, they have to do the complete fit-up again, which, you know, we use the same back racks and beacon lights. We might use it for 3 different vehicles. So there's a lot of extra built in there to ensure that we can actually realistically see that savings, if not more, so.
Any other questions? And not that I don't trust engineers when it comes to money, Mr. Burton, but Mr. Maestri, did you have a chance to have a look at this?
Yes, so as from a financial perspective, I did have a look at it, and I did raise some questions with enterprise fleet management, and obviously to understand the built-in finance cost that's embedded in the finance lease contract, to understand how this is a profitable situation. Obviously, as Director Burden highlighted from the operational perspective, how that materializes in terms of benefit, but how does fleet management, and the actual cost, the actual finance cost is actually embedded in the lease contract, and that's how they, because that's basically what it is. It's a finance arrangement between the city and enterprise fleet management, and that's how they make their money. So at the moment, the way they price the finance cost, which is embedded in the lease contract, is the 3-year Canadian bond rate plus 300 basis points. So 300 basis points is basically 3%. So that currently works out at 6.43%, right, versus how they would actually source the funding versus what is the cost to the city. And that's how they make their profits. So taking that into account and taking into account the rollout period of these vehicles, so 16 in the first year, 16 in the second year, 7 and 6, basically we would pay that lease premium versus just outright purchases, resulting in that net benefit of $436,000. So obviously that's over that 10-year horizon. If you present value that, and if you present value it in today's terms, that will amount to about $371,000 of benefit. So in other words, what it means to us as we stand now, what would that benefit be?
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, well, let's vote on it. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. Well, that's good. Something new and new, interesting way of doing business, for sure. Next, Councillor Griffin.
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, yes.
I'm in conflict for the next 2.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I think that, yeah, we've established that before. Councillor Griffin, we have a change order 31 on the rec center.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council approval is required to amend change order number 31, pool salvage Natar pool curb, that was approved by council on March 27, 2023. Days after the original change order was approved, the contractor notified the city that there was an accounting error in the summary of cost provided to the owner's advisory and the city for approval. As a result, the value of the amended change order is now $244,557.47, which represents an increase of $35,224.63. This new value is more in line with what was originally presented to the city. Staff are working with the contractor to find cost savings that could help offset a significant portion of this increased amount. This change order will help keep the project on schedule and avoid potential delay claims at the end of the project. Be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook approve the amended change order number 31 between the City of Corner Brook and Parmerlo, Inc. for an increase of $281,241.09, HST included, for the Corner Brook Regional Recreation Center. I so move.
Okay, thank you. A second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor, so the increase from the previous amount that was approved is 35,224, not 281,000. So it was 244 previously approved in a previous change order, and with the corrections, it's an additional 35,224 for a total of 281,241.
Yeah, and I think that, the 281, I think that's an HST included number.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a change order document thereafter. It looks like the 40,500, including the HST, is the addition.
The way it reads in the proposed resolution, it looks like we're adding another 281,000.
Yes, you're right.
But 244,000 that was already approved in a previous change order. I don't know the number on it, but
Yeah, no, that's
It's
correct.
31.
You're right, I didn't notice that, the increase of, it's really an increase of
35,224.
addition to. That's right.
Right.
Can we make
Yes.
a change? Mr. Mayor, will that change be in the motion? Will we change the motion to read that it is an increase of 35,224.63 instead of 200,
Yeah, I mean, I
Will
think,
change that?
I think we could just change to approve change order 31. Would be simple enough in this case. And that way we could, like you say, get rid of that confusion.
yeah,
So
so we
if you-
take the 200,
Yeah, so, I don't know, that, is that amenable to everyone? To
Yeah. Can we
make the
amend-
change to the, to the motion there?
Yep.
Is it?
yeah.
Yeah, yes?
Sorry, I'm confused. What are we doing? Because this is an amendment to,
No, yeah, but the change order, the wording there just on the motion says for an increase of 281,000,
an increase to 281,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Thank you.
So is everyone amenable to making that small change?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
okay.
Instead of just doing up,
We'll do two, that's fine, and
Okay.
that conveys the, everyone understands that the actual change is the 35 plus tax.
Yes.
Right? Okay?
Yep.
So we get that, good? Okay, so we'll make that, so is that, and so we'll again, okay, go ahead, do you have a question?
No, I just had a question, Mr. Mayor. This was one we approved a couple of weeks ago, the original. And at that time, I think we stated we're now over the budget by a certain amount. I don't remember what that amount is. It's not included here. But maybe it's in the next one, but can we get a update on what the running tab is right now? Because I believe everything over the original amount that was allocated in the agreement between city, province, and federal government means that everything over that, we pay 100% of any additional costs over that. Is that
Yeah.
not correct?
That's usually the case, yeah.
Yeah. So could we, perhaps for the next meeting, just get an update on the running tab?
Yeah, I think that we will get, I think, more consistent updates here on the cost now. Of course, we're going to all be paying more attention to this as we get to this phase for sure, so that does seem reasonable. Okay, any other questions on this one? No? Okay. Okay, let's vote on this one. So all those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Okay. And we have another one, Councillor Griffin?
Yes, we do, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This change order is for an increase in cost associated with the structural component of the upper wall infill of the reconstructed pool wall. It includes the following: erecting, rigging, bolting, fabrication, welding, safety equipment of structural steel component for wall rebuild, equipment, telehandler, main lifts, welding machine, crane, mobile trailer, supply new connection clips and plates for girts and X-braces, engineered connection and stamped erection drawings, shipping of prefabricated connection plates for all grits and X-braces, to supply all structural bolts for new connections. Be it resolved that the City of Corner Brook Council approve change order number 34 between the City of Corner Brook and Parmelo for an increase of $121,913.89, HST included, for the Corner Brook Regional Recreation Center. I so move.
Thank you. A seconder on this one.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this? Yes, go ahead.
questions as much as comments. I mean, we just approved 2 change orders for a total of $157,137. That's just 2 change orders tonight. Right?
There's one related to this.
Well, but for the increase tonight was are we not increasing to 121,913?
Oh, yeah,
in that one?
that's the one in question now.
Yes.
We only approved one so far.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and I did preface by saying we just approved, well, we haven't approved
Yes, we haven't
this
approved
one.
yet.
There's cement,
I understand what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So we just approved 2 for a total of $157,137 over.
No, we approved one.
Yeah,
Where
but
the
if
question
we-
is the new one.
Okay, so can we, after we approve it, then I'll bring my question back. Like, is
Yeah,
is
no.
that what you'd rather?
No, I just wonder what your question is.
My question is, it's a lot of money
Yeah,
on our overruns, for 2 overruns tonight, to, hopefully to increase by $157,000.
right.
Any way that we can get any of that back? I did read in the one before this that we may look at some cost-saving measures to be able to cover part of that. But it's like Councilor Pender just said, everything now we're on the hook for 100%.
That's right.
So I guess I would be in agreement with bring back how much we are actually over for our next meeting.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Yes, Councilor Pender.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Mayor, if you read down just after the proposed resolution, and I think we need clarification on this one, because I thought the last time Mr. Charter said we were at the limit of the budget, but this one says the project budget is 24/7. The original contract amount was $22,091,000 and change. The new contract amount is now $23,973,000 and change. So we're 1.9 million over and above the original contract thus far. However, it does appear that we still have about $800,000 yet left in the budget, pending any changes to come forward at the next meeting, I assume. So I think maybe it would be helpful, going back to my previous question, of getting a list of all of the change orders thus far to make up that 1.9 million. I think some of them we agreed to in the beginning, i.e. changing the facade of the building, things like that. So as long as we're under the project budget, I think that's good. But we still have about, 8 months or so of construction left on that project. And although we assume and hope that all of the issues that could arise have arisen, I don't think any of us were expecting any more of these change orders to be coming forward, and yet here we are again. And I think we all had a picture of the steel, how it was corroded and so on. Definitely needs to be replaced, no doubt. But I would like to see a list now of all of the extra overruns or change orders on top of the original contract as we go forward.
Yep, okay.
Thank you.
Next one, we can arrange that. Yes, Mr. Brook.
Just to speak briefly to the Deputy Mayor's question on recovering, and there will be, as with any design build project, there will be a review after the fact of all change orders to ensure that the city is on the hook for all of them, and not and not some of them the contractor. It's quite common in the design build process to at the end have a bit of a settlement hearing to determine, right now we have to approve, or I recommend approving to avoid any delay claims, which can be quite costly. But in the end of the day, I think, we will be reviewing very closely all the change orders to ensure that they are our responsibility and not the responsibility of the contractor.
Yes.
Does that happen very often, that we do get change orders that aren't our responsibility at the end of the project?
Mr. Burton?
On large projects is not uncommon at all to, when you're talking $25 million plus projects, it's not uncommon to go back and settle on, who's ultimately responsible for the change orders.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, then let's vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, we have some accounts receivable write-off. Councillor Gill.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the city attempts to collect all taxes, charges, and expenses that are billed, obviously, and in some cases, there are some accounts that are not able to be collected for various reasons. The city maintains an annual allowance for doubtful accounts to provide for the write-off of various accounts. There's a lot of various and doubtful in there. Anyway, the write-offs are for accounts in which there is no or limited opportunity to be able to recover any additional funds. So staff have recommended to us that the write-off of the identified accounts is reasonable, as reasonable collection methods have been exhausted. So therefore, be it resolved to approve the write-off of $71,517.97 for 24 accounts provided in the list that's been attached to this resolution. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. A seconder on that?
Second it.
Thank you. I just want to remind council, this, the document here, the public version has a redacted the account numbers because there are identifiable things there in the account numbers. So just mind that, I guess, if you're discussing the issue. Yes?
Mr. Mayor, can we have staff explain what methods we use before we determine that we've exhausted everything to get the money?
Yep, absolutely. Mr. Maestri.
Yes, so the city collector will basically try to follow up with the taxpayer. Sorry, am I audible?
I'm deaf.
Sorry, the city collector will make various attempts to make contact with the respective taxpayer to collect the outstanding taxes, either residential or business taxes, and will send letters and reminders to the official addresses of the taxpayers. If there's no response, then obviously make telephone calls to the taxpayers. If there's no contact made, either correspondence from the taxpayer or any getting hold of them via telephone, then the city collector will basically reach out to the solicitor, city solicitor, so that we prepare a formal official letter to go out to the taxpayer. And obviously, if there's no response thereafter, and this is not over a few weeks, it's like it could extend for a few years until there's literally no opportunity to actually recover the taxes. Saying that, and as much as we tend to follow a policy of writing off those long outstanding dues, we will still keep them on book and continue to follow the process in the event that we do somehow make contact. So it's not a few-week process. It's a couple of months to a couple of years to see who's really outstanding, and if we can make no contact with any of these taxpayers that have been outstanding for over a long period of time. Obviously, the city collector is also favored, obviously, in the context of Corner Brook, the businesses that are happening, and the status of the business itself, and if it's been closed down for a couple of years, and the likelihood. So yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any other questions there? Yes. Go ahead, Councilor Grant.
Yeah, just for public information, I know you said the document's redacted, but just following up, the total amount of errors would be $56,000, would be out of the 71 is for businesses that are no longer in operation.
Yes.
They're closed or moved out or shut down.
Yeah, and it is, of course, difficult to collect business taxes, more so than property taxes. Right. Our legal options there to leverage their property or things is often more difficult. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, just following up on what Councilor Granter said, these are not all businesses, some are households, but I do notice that several of them are the result of homes being sold, but they didn't pay the water shut-off or didn't pay the water tax or whatever. Some of these are only a couple $100, whatever. My question is how is it that we're selling houses in the city of Corner Brook without getting the tax letter from the city saying that the taxes are paid? That's normally pretty standard, that all taxes and water taxes and so on are up to date before the house can be sold, and that's the means by which we normally collect our money. I'm just wondering how that is possible, because I just see several here let's say, the home is sold but didn't pay the water fee, the home is sold but didn't pay the water shut-off, and so on. So how can a house be sold with an outstanding bill and that bill not be paid before the transaction actually takes place?
Yeah, Mr. Maestri?
We'll have to look into that in terms of what was the lien and what was recovered on that property itself, on those properties.
Normally, the legal transaction requires a letter from the city. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Deputy Mayor, virtual meetings attendance for council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
This one here, I think you've requested an update.
I did
So this
request an
is,
update.
so now you get to read it.
Now I get to read it because I've been asking for this now for a while, so it's good to see it come forward. Staff have been investigating options on how to make virtual attendance available for council at public council meetings. The provision for a councilor to attend virtually is that they can hear and be heard. The current technology that is being used does not allow for a hybrid of in-person and virtual attendance that will provide an optimal auditory and visual output and input. Therefore, in order to make this option available, it will require significant modifications and replacement of equipment. The Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs have also recommended the development of a policy for any municipalities that wish to permit virtual attendance at council meetings to set procedure and parameters of how virtual options should be used and when. Therefore, a virtual attendance option would require development of a policy and the procurement of an appropriate technology. And attached, we have the copy of the current schedule of meetings and a proposed schedule for the year will be coming forward in the next meeting. So I don't have to go through all the council meetings, I don't think, that are coming up. This is just a FYI.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so I don't know, any thoughts or questions on that? Go ahead.
Who would be responsible for writing the policy if we're going to develop a policy?
Well, typically, staff would come up with something and bring it to council for review. This is something that I know that staff have worked on because you requested before we look at it. As it says here, I know that IT was looking at it, and it is difficult to do hybrid meetings, especially in this format with our partners here at Rogers. So presenting one person virtually versus, say, the 6 of us in the room is somewhat difficult. It can be done, of course. We put a man on the moon, so I'm sure we can do it. But it's obviously not ideal. It's better for us all in the room. So if there's some, we can look at some options, but I think we also need to form some policy, because if it's, say, one person not here versus most of us not here, because we've done virtual meetings with everyone before, and I guess when that would be triggered or how we would do it. Yes, go ahead.
Any idea the cost? Have we actually costed out the technology that would be involved if we were going to go hybrid?
I'm not aware.
I'm not sure the exact numbers. I believe like the base to reformat the equipment was minimum 10,000, and then they would still have to look at additional equipment to set up be able to accommodate the hybrid. But that's a rough estimate.
Okay.
Yes?
Mr. Mayor, as you well know, I am a huge fan of technology, and I've also argued for this particular arrangement. I do understand the importance of having the sense of community, to have the sense of community that we're all here in the room, and we're paid to be here. And, if we can't be here, we should try to work around the schedule that's presented to us far in advance we get our schedule pretty far in advance, right? So, I'm going to Portugal next week, which I'm really excited about, but I worked around the schedule that was presented to me. However, I do believe that if during particular periods, such as during the summer, when people take vacation, I don't think it's beyond the scope of reasonability, I don't know if that's a word, reasonableness, that if there were going to say be half of us away, then it would make sense for us to have a total online meeting. But I don't know about, like, if one person's away, to introduce that kind of technology into this environment here that taxpayers are paying for, if only one person's going to be away, I don't see that as being a meaningful use of our funds. So I'm like, everybody's online or nobody's online. And if you can't make the meeting, you can't make the meeting. That's my 2 cents on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes.
I just want to add on, I wasn't thinking about everybody somebody staying home in Corner Brook
Yeah.
and attending a meeting. I was more of the opinion when you're gone, either out of town or you're gone somewhere, and not necessarily a vacation, but because something happens that you have to go out of town at a time when you can't arrange it around this meeting schedule. There should be no reason why anybody's voice cannot be heard here in this room, just because you're away for whatever reason.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? No, and I don't know if in the, in the short term, it mentioned that we are going to look at the schedule for the summer, because that is, I think we have one up to the end of June right now. So at the next meeting, I guess we'll bring forward a schedule. So we only typically have our one meeting a month in the summer. Potentially we could, I don't know, we could look at doing something different for the summer anyway, if that's something that's amenable to council. So I don't know if anyone has any particular like travel needs or things like that this summer. That we can accommodate by doing, a specific virtual or a number of virtual sessions during the summer. Yes, Deputy?
I guess to just go back and visit, like, what is the practice when somebody is not going to be at a meeting or somebody's going to be out of town? What do we, how do we handle that? Do we let you know, or I know the public would want to know that, and sometimes I'd like to know. Also, are we told when somebody is gone? Are we told when we're going to miss a meeting? Are we to tell you or the city manager, or what's the protocol?
I would appreciate someone inform me and the clerk if they can't make it. I think that's just courtesy. Obviously, your missing meetings is something that happens. I know that that's not an uncommon occurrence, because people are, ill or got to attend to something. For sure, that happens. Recently, I went on vacation. I timed it in between, so I didn't miss meetings. And that's again a good thing about having our schedule published well in advance, so we can make plans and such, right? But if there's a desire to do certain times of the year or whatever, that we have to do a virtual meeting, like around Christmas maybe, or first meeting or something, so that we can accommodate people's travel schedules, or if there's certain times during the summer, I'm all ears. Yes. So, yes.
So the schedule as we have it now is not changing, right? That's up to the end of June.
I assume it wouldn't.
Because I've made my plans based on that.
Yeah, that's the,
Okay. And then we'll see for July and August, if we have one meeting a month as we normally would.
Yeah.
A regular meeting.
that's right. So the plan wouldn't be to change this meeting, it would be to change the for the summer at least, to get us to September.
And that one, we could, those two, I guess, July and August, we could potentially do virtually if we have 3 or 4 people away or whatever, so we can look at that at that time. Okay.
Yeah, as long as we all know, like I said, level playing field. I think that the difficult thing is having meetings with some people in the room and some people not in the room. It does have an unlevel playing field kind of thing. And obviously, it does put people at a disadvantage, but it also, we have this beautiful facility, we have our partners at Rogers. We want to use this room as much as we can, of course, right? Yes?
Just for my 2 cents, for the first time, I can agree with the deputy, and I agree with Councillor Gill. My only concern would be we'd have to have some kind of a limit on it. Now I can go to Florida for 2 months, right? Because I can just go online, right? And I think that's not where the deputy's going with this, right? So you would really need, we can do it, but if we decided to do it would have to be, it's about, like you were saying, having to go and stuff like that. Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, it states in the Corner Brook Act how many meetings we're allowed to miss in a year.
Yep.
So we can miss meetings as long as it's within the parameters. I do agree with Councillor Griffin with respect to the sentiment behind it. You know, we can't just pack up and take off. We're paid to be here. We're paid to be here for these meetings. And so it behooves us to work our personal lives around the meeting dates that are pretty much given to us fairly early on, that we can work around it, like I said. So, but I get that things come up. I get that there are times when we can't be here. And again, if there is a critical mass of people that can't be here, then I would totally be okay with moving the whole thing online. But to have some people online and some people not online, and if it's going to be more money to the city to bring in the technology for some people to be online, I'm not in favor of that. But we do get our schedules early enough that we should be able to work our lives around it, unless there is an extraordinary circumstance. And if there is an extraordinary circumstance, then we are allowed to miss meetings.
Yep.
Right? It's in the act that we can miss so many meetings.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? So perhaps I could ask council, if you're going to be away in the next couple of months, or up until September, before the clerk presents some idea of where our meetings are going to be over the summer, send in when you're going to be away, and we will try to accommodate those. We have some time during those months. And, you know, if there is unavoidable times, well, there will be. But at least to get us through to September. In the meantime, I guess to your concern, Deputy, we can ask IT to sharpen their pencil here and try and figure out exactly, you know, present a few options, what we could do in terms of the practical aspect of this, and see. Does that sound, yeah? Yeah?
And I do know I can miss meetings, and however many I can miss. However, if there's something important on the agenda, and I should be able to vote exactly the same as anybody else sitting around this room. Thank you.
Yep. Yes?
Just for the summer, Mr. Mayor, just want to make sure we're going to keep our meetings Monday nights at 7. We're not.
Oh, yeah.
Time or anything else.
Well, we've done it at noon before in the
I know we
summers.
have, but I know a lot of us are working, so I am now too, so
Yeah.
I'm no longer available at lunch hours, for instance, or 4 o'clock. Well, 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Yeah, yeah.
Could do that.
What is the earliest the council can do? So how early in the evening can people do? 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
For July and August?
Yeah.
4:30, 5 o'clock is fine.
How about everyone over here?
I can do 4:30.
Over here?
I'm
4:30?
easy, yeah.
Is that, obviously that makes it a little easier for staff and that as well. Okay, so we'll again bring something back to the next meeting. The clerk will do something together. It's only going to be a couple meetings we're talking about, right? To get us through then. Okay? Sound good? Good. Perfect. Okay. Councillor Granter, we have an interesting opportunity here with a Ukrainian firefighter.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. City of Corner Brook is considering a partnership with the Newfoundland Department of Immigration and Multiculturalism under the Atlantic Immigration Program to provide an opportunity for a Ukrainian-trained firefighter to join the Corner Brook Fire Department. The Corner Brook Fire Department will assist Ukrainian immigrating firefighter with an on-the-job training opportunity so he can acquire NFPA Level 1 and Level 2 firefighter accreditation and thereby be fully accredited to gain employment as a firefighter in our city's fire service. Ukrainian firefighting methodologies are different from North American and different from the National Fire Protection Association standards. So a transitionary period will be required to equate and mold this Ukrainian firefighter's skill set to the basic NFPA firefighter Level 1 and Level 2. Once this is achieved, this Ukrainian firefighter will be enabled to assimilate into Canadian Fire Services and hopefully the Corner Brook Fire Department. This partnership shall in no way conflict with the contractual agreement existing between the City of Corner Brook and the Firefighters Collective Agreement. This opportunity will function in the same manner that we provide to fire school students work-term placements, with the exception that the City will provide some funding in partnership with the province of Newfoundland and Labrador to assist with this firefighter's immigration to Canada. and specifically Corner Brook, Newfoundland. This Ukrainian firefighter will be a trainee and will not replace any position within the Corner Brook Fire Department until such time he is credentialed and competes through our regular recruitment processes. To facilitate this opportunity, the City of Corner Brook will provide employment under the Newfoundland Jobs Program, where the province would contribute 60% of the firefighter's pay and the city pay the balance of 40% for a 28-week work term. The financial impact, Mr. Mayor, the Ukrainian firefighter will be paid $20 per hour, of which the city would pay $8 for 28 weeks at 40 hours per week. The city cost will be $8,960 plus 4% vacation pay for a total of $9,856. Notably, Mr. Mayor, the city would pay the firefighters' employment insurance and Canada pension premiums as well, totaling $1,653.68. Total cost for the city will be $11,509.68. The Corner Brook Fire Department can fund this amount within its 2023 payroll budget due to the 2-month vacancy of the training officer position and some firefighters on leave and being paid from other sources. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Now, we don't have this done as an RFP, Mr. Flynn?
No, it was more intended as a information report. The city manager made a decision to move forward with council's consent on this one, so.
Okay, well,
So we
council's
still
consent
can
sounds
go-
like a motion, so
Yeah.
I'm sure we can make a motion to get this done, right?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, also moved.
Okay, perfect.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions on this one?
No, Mr. Mayor, but sorry, Mr. Mayor. Raise my hand.
That's right.
There, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, did you?
You raised my hand first.
Okay, Councilor Pender.
Thank you. No, I fully endorse this. This is a great idea, and it's something concrete we can do to help our Ukrainian friends who are fighting for their lives in Ukraine, and this is a wonderful way in which we can contribute something meaningful besides the other things that we all do individually and collectively. So I congratulate whoever came up with the idea and wholeheartedly endorse that, and just say, you know, these are great opportunities, and when staff comes forward with things like this, keep them coming, because the more we can do to help our friends that are struggling, the better off we all are in the end.
Okay, thank you. Other questions or comments there?
No, Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
I echo what Councilor Pender just said. No need to repeat similar sentiments. Totally support the concept. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Yes?
Yeah. Again, I too totally support this, but we have to make sure, like, apparently this guy is, or this person is accredited, but we just don't recognize the certificates that he has? Is that?
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. He
Okay.
is an accredited firefighter with their fire service is under their civil defense service, and there's no way to equate the NFPA standard to their standards. So he has 10-year or almost 15 years service, 10 years as a deputy fire chief, actually, and he's not, I'm of the understanding that he's not an old man or anything like that. He's in his middle age, and this is just an opportunity to help him to assimilate into the Canadian Fire Service and give him the credentials he needs to move forward here in our country.
Okay.
And hopefully, in our fire department, if the opportunities present themselves at the end of this term.
But no, I just want to make sure and let everybody at home know that, yes, he is from the Ukraine, and yes, you know, it's, you know, we're going to help him in every way we can. But in the fire service, you know, you're only as good as the guy next to you, right? You know, I can be in the gym all day. If you're up watching TV, then you're good because I can get you out. I'm the one in trouble, right? So that said, you know, I think it's very important that, it's very important that, you know, like his certs are, you know, that we do a background check on him and make sure that he is qualified, because it's not just him. And, you know, like when it comes to helping our friends, I'm all for it. But, you know, there's a bit of responsibility that comes with that too. And, you know, we have to make sure, this is a new thing that we're doing. and I think it's an awesome thing.
But
we
that
have to,
said, Mr. Mayor, I would add to that is that the qualification for NFPA Level 1 and Level 2 would be done by the province, and he would have to write the exact same examination and do the same job requirements and be tested that way, the same as a Newfoundlander would be.
And that's where I was going with this, Mr. Mayor. It's important that we get that out there, that it's yes, he's from the Ukraine, but, you know, he has met a standard. And that's important, right? That's it, yeah. Good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Anything else there? Okay. Yes.
No, I'm good.
Good. Okay, yeah, this sounds great. Let's do it. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Counterminded? Carried. Councillor Keeping, this is another interesting initiative. New program in conjunction with ENLO, the Assistance to Women Entrepreneurs of Small and Medium Enterprises, or AWESOME, as the acronym goes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the past several months, staff have been working with the Newfoundland Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs to develop a program called AWESOME to assist women who want to start a business in the city. This program will support women entrepreneurs, and it will provide some critical cash flow relief in the initial stages of waiving business taxes for up to 2 years. This will encourage more women-run businesses and will reinforce the city's business-friendly image and its business-like approach. There will be no out-of-pocket expense for the city, and hence no budget allocation is required. The proposed resolution, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook support the implementation of the new business program assisting women entrepreneurs of small and business and medium enterprise that will provide targeted assistance to business run by women entrepreneurs in the City of Corner Brook. I so move.
Thank you. A seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
I'm sorry. Just being the devil's advocate here. You know, like, can we, what's there to protect, well, I have the business, so I'll just sign it over to my wife, and it's her business now, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is meant for women and business women, right? And that's the way I'm reading it anyway, so, we got all the bases covered on this, right? This is a good thing. It's not something that somebody can say, yippee, I can take advantage of this.
Yeah.
I hope I made sense for what that.
Yeah, there is a set of qualifications, I guess, for eligible businesses.
Yes.
And so one of the qualifications here is a business that has, if the ownership pattern has changed in the last 3 years by takeover or other means, making it a woman-operated business, according to the definition.
Yep.
So you're right, that is a potential loophole for sure, yes. Yep.
And Mr. Mayor, I would like to assure council that ENLO knows what they're doing. They've been doing these kinds of programs and encouraging women for many, many, many years. I have been involved with them for a long time, and so I do want to assure council that that there are no loopholes, that this program will help women entrepreneurs, and I'm fully in support of it.
Yeah, and just to be clear, though, I guess, just to make sure everyone is clear, as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it does seem this is our initiative. ENLO endorses our initiative, but it looks like our business facilitator has designed it.
And Mr. Mayor, we've gotten good counsel from them.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I just brought that up here so that it's a conversation for chambers, not Tim Hortons kind of thing, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a question that needs to be asked because somebody's going to ask. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm okay with it.
Questions? Yes.
I'll just add my voice, Mr. Mayor. I wholeheartedly support this initiative. ENLO is a very reputable organization in our province, and if they're willing to endorse this, I give it my full support.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, so I think the thing is that to remember, of course, that this is no new money involved here, so this is potential revenue down the road, but assuming, I guess, any business that does get a successful start in our city can succeed, we stand to reap the benefits down the road. Okay, so no other questions or comments here? Okay, we'll take it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried. And one more, Councillor Griffin, we have a discretionary use, a hair salon, 15 Tudor Street.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Corner Brook has received an application to operate a home-based business, a hair salon, from the dwelling located at 15 Tudor Street. This property is located in a residential medium-density zone where a home-based business is a discretionary use of the City of Corner Brook development regulations. The applicant has informed the city that the hair salon is to only serve one client at a time. Parking has been reviewed, and there is adequate parking for both the dwelling unit and the proposed home-based hair salon. Be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook approve the application to operate a home-based business hair salon at 15 Tudor Street in accordance with Regulation 11, discretionary powers of authority. I so move.
Okay, thank you. Seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded. Okay, questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
my only concern would be about the parking.
Yep.
That's my only thing, because we have run into that recently with other businesses that have been operating out of residential areas.
Yep.
So as long as the parking is kept under control and we don't get complaints from the area, then I'd be fine with it, yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, Councilor Penn?
Mr. Mayor, the memo from the Development Inspector 1, I guess, just states, and I don't have an issue with it, but it just states, after review of the application, results to the notice to occupants. It is recommended that council approve the application, but they don't actually tell us what the results were of the notice to occupants. Normally they'll tell us they got nothing back, or
Yeah.
they had one opposition, or
Just
in
one up,
favor.
I think 2 paragraphs up. It says, as a result of this notice, 1 telephone call support.
It was one, was it?
Yep.
Where did you see that, Mr. Mayor? Sorry.
The second paragraph of the memo.
Oh, sorry, okay, yeah. I skipped over that, thank you.
Yep. Tom, anything else? No questions? No, pretty straightforward, I think. So, any no other questions? Then all those in favor of this, say aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Carried. Excellent. With that, we are...
Before we close out?
Yes.
No, I just want to make a comment. I'd just like to congratulate our Corner Brook Walls for the year that they had. It was so good to see the stadium full, really. So Councillor Buckle, Tony Buckle and his team, the volunteers, I mean, they did a great job, and that facility is being used, and that's what we wanted when the door was open. So a big congrats go out to them.
Absolutely, and good luck to our neighbors up in Deer Lake, of course, as they try to get the Herger. Yes?
See, just for adding something, can I just add a quick
Yeah.
PSA?
Yeah.
Just to want to remind people, the spring is here, kids, people are out on the bikes, their skateboards, their scooters, whatever, and people need to remember to stop at stop signs and make sure they check before they enter the roadway, check on the crosswalks and so on, because kids and adults sometimes don't necessarily stop to look where the car is going when they're supposed to be stopped. I will say it's happened twice to me already going down West Street. The stop sign at the bottom of East Valley probably needs to be adjusted because cars are just rolling through there by Tim Hortons. They're not looking, not stopping long enough to look. They're glancing and rolling through. So just a reminder, people, a car is a lot heavier than an individual or a kid or anybody on a bike or skateboard, and to take their time, and please pay attention because it is that time of year now where people will be out walking, jogging, riding bikes, skateboarding, whatever, and let's just be a little more cautious when we're driving.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes? Last one.
Mr. Burden has a comment.
Yes, Mr. Burden.
Just one quick thing, Mr. Mayor. Seeing today was the first request on our inquiry system about the sweepers. We will have the 2 sweepers will actually be going out tomorrow, and our 2 street sweepers and our sidewalk sweepers. And we will be running them 24 hours a day to try to get this sand cleaned up as quick as we can.
Cross your fingers for
Sweep,
no
sweep.
more snow. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Mr.
program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Days the sun that never set. There's not one thing that comes to mind that I regret. God, I wish I had those days again. Wish what I know now I had known back then. Time seems to pass so quickly now. Friends once close to me now are all scattered round. All I have are memories of way back when. God, I wish I had those days. God, I wish I had those days again. Wish what I know now I had have known back then. Time it seems to pass so quickly now. Friends once close to me now are all scattered round. All I have are memories of way back when. God, I wish I had those days again.
A sober man of plenty, drunk as barely 20. There were men up over 90 that had never yet kissed a girl. Give me a rambling rover, for Orkney down to Dover, and we'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world. The boys at fair enjoyment, a merciless employment. Their mission was to climb it from the minute they left the school. They save and scrape and ponder, the rest go out and squander. See the world they rather wonder, and they're happier as a rule. A sober man of plenty, drunk as barely 20. There were men up over 90 that had never yet kissed a girl. Give me a rambling rover, for Orkney down to Dover, and we'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world. I've been to all the nations, the lights in all creations, and enjoyed a wee sensation when the company it proclaimed. I'm counting the waltz of pleasure, I drank another measure to the friends that we all treasure, for they're always on our mind. A sober man of plenty, drunk as barely 20. There were men up over 90 that had never yet kissed a girl. Give me a rambling rover, for Orkney down to Dover, and we'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world. Your bowels have got colitis, you've a gallon bronchitis, till you're thinking it's time to die. You've been a man of action, lying there in your action. Can you get some satisfaction when you're thinking at least you tried? A sober man of plenty, drunk as barely 20. There were men up over 90 that had never yet kissed a girl. Give me a rambling rover, for Orkney down to Dover, and we'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world. A sober man of plenty, drunk as barely 20. There were men up over 90 that had never yet kissed a girl. Give me a rambling rover, for Orkney down to Dover, and we'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world. We'll roam the country over, and together we'll face the world.
As I sit in silence here in this It's your time to shine, it's your time to climb. Reach for those stars, jump for those bars. Don't be afraid, you have to be brave. It's your time to shine. Your time. Thank God for His grace, He put me here in this place. Front row wait for my name to be called. Then my wife squeezes my hand, says how bright she is that I'm her man. She always makes you feel 10 feet tall. It's my time to shine, it's my time to climb. I'm reaching for those stars, jumping over those bars. I'm not afraid, I am being brave. It's my time to shine. It's my time. My time.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Did you have fun? Check this out. It's nice, right?
Now you can enjoy Disney Plus on Ignite TV. Just say Disney Plus into your Ignite TV voice remote and stream Disney Plus movies and series like Marvel Studios' Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Star Wars, The Bad Batch,
real subtle,
and Strange World.
The world is so big.
Upgrade to Ignite TV today and get 6 months of Disney Plus on us. Visit Rogers.com/Disney to get started.
Sometimes, for a wish to come true, it takes a kingdom, because together is stronger. Tied tight, united we stand, in honor of one child's wish, to fuel the fire that will grant many more.